You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
AI adoption is exploding, and security teams are under pressure to keep up. That's why the industry is coming together at the DataSec AI Conference, the premier event for cybersecurity data and AI leaders, hosted by data security leader Cyera. Built for the industry, by the industry, this two-day conference is where real-world insights and bold solutions take center stage. DataSec AI 25 is happening November 12th and 13th in Dallas. There's no cost to attend. Just bring your perspective and join the conversation. Register now at datasecai2025.com/CyberWire. A major ransomware attack disrupts airport operations across Europe. Congress is on the verge of letting major cyber legislation expire. A critical flaw nearly allowed total compromise of every Entra ID tenant. Automaker Stellantis confirms a data breach. Fortra patches a critical flaw in its Go Anywhere MFT software. Europol leads a major operation against online child sexual exploitation. 3 of the cybersecurity industry's biggest players opt out of MITRE's 2025 attack evaluations. A compromised Steam game drains a cancer patient's donations. We've got our business breakdown. Andrez Olchawa and Milenko Starchik from Vision Space join Maria Varmazis, host of T-Minus Space Daily, on hacking satellites. And how one kid got tangled in scattered spiders' web. It's Monday, September 22nd, 2025. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Thanks for joining us here today. Happy Monday. It's great to have you with us. A major ransomware attack has disrupted airport operations across Europe, targeting check-in and boarding software supplied by Collins Aerospace. The European Union Agency for Cybersecurity confirmed that the malware scrambled automated systems, forcing manual workarounds at airports including Heathrow, Berlin, and Brussels. Heathrow warned staff that more than 1,000 computers may be corrupted, with recovery requiring in-person fixes. Although about half of Heathrow's airlines, including British Airways, restored partial service, Brussels Airport canceled nearly 140 flights on Monday. Collins, whose Muse software was attacked, has issued patches but acknowledged hackers remain inside systems even after a rebuild. Law enforcement is investigating. The incident highlights the growing ransomware threat, with aviation cyber attacks up 600% in the last year, according to Thales, and criminal gangs reaping hundreds of millions annually. Congress is on the verge of letting the 2015 Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act expire at the end of this month, and the stakes are high. The law gives companies liability protections when sharing cyber threat intelligence with each other and the government, essential to timely detection and response. While industry, the Trump administration, and many lawmakers favor a clean multi-year reauthorization, repeated attempts at both short and long-term extensions have collapsed. Senator Rand Paul has objected to straightforward renewals, pushing instead for changes that industry and colleagues argue would gut protections and chill sharing. With no clear legislative path and the clock ticking, a lapse could have immediate consequences: hesitation to share critical threat data, heightened exposure to attacks, and amplified political fallout if a major breach occurs during the gap. A critical design flaw in legacy Microsoft components nearly allowed total compromise of every Entra ID tenant. Researcher Dirk-Jan Mollema found undocumented, unsigned actor tokens issued by the old access control service and used for internal service-to-service calls that can impersonate any user for 24 hours and aren't logged or revocable. Coupled with a defect in the deprecated Azure AD Graph API, an attacker could craft an actor token, target a tenant, impersonate a global admin, and change users, reset passwords, or alter configurations with almost no trace in the victim tenant. Microsoft was notified July 14th. The company fixed the issue within 9 days and issued a public patch on September 4th. The takeaway here is legacy auth paths and deprecated APIs are high risk. Inventory, remove, and monitor them urgently. Automaker Stellantis has confirmed a data breach stemming from a third-party vendor supporting its North American customer service operations. The intrusion exposed customer names and email addresses, but no financial or sensitive information. The automaker launched an investigation, alerted law enforcement, and began notifying affected customers, warning them to watch for phishing attempts. Stellantis has not disclosed the vendor or number of victims. Fortra has patched a critical flaw in its Go Anywhere MFT software that could enable remote code execution through command injection. The issue stems from deserialization of untrusted data in the license servlet, exploitable with a forged license signature. Recent versions include fixes, and Fortra urges customers to block public access to the admin console, monitor audit logs, and check for suspicious errors. While no active exploitation is reported, past CLOP ransomware abuses make this vulnerability a serious risk. An international task force coordinated by Europol has identified 51 children and launched proceedings against 60 suspects in a major operation against online child sexual exploitation. Bringing together officers from 18 countries, investigators met in The Hague to analyze over 5,000 pieces of material using both traditional police work and AI-driven forensic tools. The effort produced 276 intelligence packages, leading to arrests across multiple jurisdictions. The cross-border nature of the crimes, servers, platforms, and victims spread across countries underscored the need for real-time intelligence sharing. Europol says this collaborative model, combining advanced forensics with multinational coordination, will guide future efforts. Authorities stress that while police pursue offenders, parents must also take proactive steps, educating children about online risks, setting clear boundaries, and encouraging safe reporting of suspicious contact. Three of the cybersecurity industry's biggest players, Microsoft, SentinelOne, and Palo Alto Networks, have opted out of MITRE's 2025 Attack Evaluations Enterprise test, raising questions about the program's future relevance. All three cited resource prioritization and innovation as reasons, though experts suggest concerns about the evaluations becoming more promotional than practical also played a role. MITRE admitted the test may have grown too complex, with tougher scenarios including cloud environments and alert volume tracking. Despite the withdrawals, a dozen vendors remain in the 2025 round, and MITRE plans to reboot its vendor forum for 2026 to restore industry engagement and refine testing objectives. A Latvian streamer fighting stage 4 cancer lost $32,000 in life-saving treatment donations after downloading what appeared to be a verified Steam game. During a live fundraiser, Block Blasters, a retro-style platformer with very positive reviews, silently drained his cryptocurrency wallet. Initially benign, the game was updated with a crypto drainer on August 30th, targeting high-value crypto users. Security researchers later tied it to broader thefts of up to $150,000 across hundreds of accounts using a dropper script, backdoor, and steal-C payload. The loss struck during a GoFundMe campaign, but crypto influencer Alex Becker quickly replaced the stolen funds with a $32,500 donation. The case highlights how trusted platforms like Steam can be weaponized, underscoring the need for caution with lesser-known or lightly reviewed titles. It's Monday, so that means it's time for our Monday business breakdown. We tracked roughly $390 million flowing into 15 investments, plus 6 acquisitions, so a lively week. On the funding side, Vega popped out of stealth with a hefty $65 million across seed and Series A, aiming to beef up R&D and build out its U.S. footprint. Right alongside them, Irregular, focused on securing frontier AI models, debuted with an even bigger $80 million raise led by Sequoia, targeting model resilience and misuse prevention. M&A stayed busy too. CrowdStrike snapped up Pangea to deepen Falcon's AI detection and response story, think broader coverage across the AI lifecycle, and Accenture picked up Canada's IAM concepts to sharpen its identity chops across critical industries north of the border. That's this week's Business Breakdown. If you want the deeper dive on who's buying whom and why it matters for your roadmap, subscribe to N2K Pro and swing by the CyberWire.com every Wednesday for the latest. Coming up after the break, Maria Varmazis, host of the T-Minus Space Daily, speaks with Andres Ochoa and Milenko Starczyk from Vision Space. They're talking about hacking satellites and how one kid got tangled in scattered spiders' web. Stay with us. At Thales, they know cybersecurity can be tough and you can't protect everything. But with Thales, you can secure what matters most. With Thales's industry-leading platforms, you can protect critical applications, data, and identities, anywhere and at scale with the highest ROI. That's why the most trusted brands and largest banks, retailers, and healthcare companies in the world rely on Thales to protect what matters most: applications, data, and identity. That's Thales. THALES. Learn more at thalesgroup.com/cyber. Compliance regulations, third-party risk, and customer security demands are all growing and changing fast. Is your manual GRC program actually slowing you down? If you're thinking there has to be something more efficient than spreadsheets, screenshots, and all those manual processes, you're right. GRC can be so much easier, and it can strengthen your security posture while actually driving revenue for your business. You know, one of the things I really like about Vanta is how it takes the heavy lifting out of your GRC program. Their trust management platform automates those key areas: compliance, internal and third-party risk, and even customer trust, so you're not buried under spreadsheets and endless manual tasks. Vanta really streamlines the way you gather and manage information across your entire business. And this isn't just theoretical. A recent IDC analysis found that compliance teams using Vanta are 129% more productive. It's a pretty impressive number. So what does it mean for you? It means you get back more time and energy to focus on what actually matters, like strengthening your security posture and scaling your business. Vanta, GRC. Just imagine how much easier trust can be. Visit vanta.com/cyber to sign up today for a free demo. That's vanta.com/cyber. Maria Varmazis is host of the T-Minus Space Daily podcast. She recently sat down with Andres Ochoa and Milenko Starczyk from Vision Space to discuss hacking satellites.
So I'm Milenko Starczyk. I'm currently leading the cybersecurity section at Vision Space Technologies. We're a company headquartered in Germany, around for, I think, almost 15 years now. We also have branches now in Portugal and Spain, so currently serving the European space industry needs.
My name is Andrei Olhava. I've been with the company a couple of years now, working as a cybersecurity engineer, and I'm mainly focused on offensive security activities for the space system. So things like penetration testing of some systems, vulnerability research, finding zero days, and we are writing a book for No Start Press, which is called the Spacecraft Hacker's Handbook.
Milenko and Andrei, thank you both for joining me today. I'm thrilled to be speaking to both of you. And I saw an article on the Register, which I read every day, about some research that you all presented at Black Hat. And I really wanted to talk to you both about what you found, if you want to sort of recap some of that research, especially for my audience, who is predominantly not cybersecurity focused, but they are in the space industry. And what you would like them to know about what you've been finding, what those key takeaways are.
So our research was a collection of vulnerabilities that we've gathered over the past years. I think 2023, we started doing like systematic review of software systems used in space. So what we were most familiar with are mission control systems, just from the background we had from maintaining and deploying and configuring these systems. We knew that there's a lot that could be found potentially. So we did like a review of open source mission control systems and found quite a lot of vulnerabilities in them, which were mostly from a cybersecurity perspective, like low-hanging fruits. But from the space perspective, the software was doing what it was supposed to do. It didn't do anything unexpected. It was just that the hardening was not to the standard which you would expect from an application used for such a like sensitive purpose. And that seems to be like a very common problem in the space industry, is that the software is not built to withstand modern attacks and modern attackers who know how to take these systems apart, and that there is still a thinking, people don't know how to use this application, so they will not be able to do anything without it, which is very, very dangerous. So if you say like, oh no, my software is so complex, only I can use it, that's definitely not the case. Attackers will download all your files. They will read through thousands of pages, now with large language models, even millions of pages of documents in hours and days, and they will go through it and they will figure out how it works. So I think that's a very risky assumption, this security by obscurity, which is still very popular in the space industry. So that's why we did it on open source software, so that we could actually go out and show, okay, like here's like a systematic problem in every single of these mission control systems. We found issues. And after that, we went for onboard software frameworks. So there's two very popular ones from NASA, Core Flight System, which is actively used in flying missions, and F-Prime, which was developed for the Mars helicopter Ingenuity. Mm-hmm. And also in those, we found quite a lot of vulnerabilities, but also some more general security issues, partially due to the lack of embedded security in these frameworks.
At this point, we have found a little bit less than 40 CVEs, almost 40 zero days in those systems. Mm-hmm. We just reported a few more on all of the systems we use. And they range from different severity, between 5 or 6 to almost 10. Like, I think the highest one we have is 9.9 or 9.8, something like that.
And that's out of a scale of 10 for my audience who may not know that's very severe. Yes.
Yeah, and also the impact varies between small information disclosure to actually getting a remote code execution on a platform, either spacecraft platform or a system that is controlling the spacecraft. The ones which we have demonstrated at Black Hat, we try to approach the demonstration from different angles to demonstrate what is the impact on the actual spacecraft by getting access to the mission control system, either directly or through a phishing campaign. And also, if you are a nation state and you are actually able to communicate with spacecraft directly because you have capabilities and you are not limited by laws, how you could take over the control of spacecraft or effectively you could break it. So that's how we decided to approach the presentation, and that's how we show those 3 demos with that in mind.
It was super fascinating reading through the different potential capabilities if someone were to exploit these vulnerabilities. And I don't want to try and do fear, uncertainty, and doubt here and go, oh, sky's falling. It is just very interesting to see what the potentials were. And I know that these vulnerabilities, it sounds like they've already been remediated. You disclosed them and they've been remediated. So am I understanding that correctly?
Yes. So we have, when we discovered those vulnerabilities, we followed the responsible disclosure process where we first notified vendor. In most of the cases, it was NASA or the companies that work for NASA. And then we worked with them to fix those issues. And we also made some effort to actually test it afterwards.
I'm wondering from you both what your thoughts are on takeaways, especially for the commercial space industry around the world, given how much it's growing. This is anecdotal, but often in conversations I've had with people, when I talk to them about cybersecurity for space systems, there's often an attitude of a lot of this is handled by government entities. I don't really need to worry about this as much. And Milenko, you mentioned security through obscurity. I just often wonder, that model seems to be very much failing in the face of scale. I'm just curious your thoughts on that. Yeah.
I would say that there's a big risk with like going for strictly compliance. I think what most people are referring to is like, okay, like we have to comply with these things. So we have a checklist, we have some threat modeling, we have some mitigations, checklist done, security.
I'm good, right? Yeah. Security done. Yes.
At least on a legal perspective. I mean, and that's what people are afraid of is like on a legal perspective, you're good. You can still get hacked. But it will like not affect you on like a legal basis, basically. And this is usually where it gets, where people get more careful is when they are more personally impacted by this. So what we've seen is like a lack of actual testing. So that's something that we're trying to push for, is that like your security controls are nice, but if you still haven't tested the software that is running on your systems, like this custom software, on systems which are configured and often like maintained over sometimes decades, like until like literally the server falls apart, and then you hope that you have a spare box somewhere in the corner of the room. These systems, they need to be maintained and they need to be tested on a regular basis, and this is something that we see is definitely missing. That you could maybe have the software that we had previously going through compliance cycles over and over again. No one was ever bothering to run like a simple code, like static analysis on the code base to see if there are maybe some low-hanging fruits in it, which they were. So a lot of the issues we found could have been easily caught early on, and not kept in the software for many years.
That is interesting.
And on the commercial side of things, there are pretty much 2 ways companies go about it. One way is to develop their own software, which is closed source, and we don't really know what it is. So it's going to be up to the company to make sure that it's secure.
Yep.
And unfortunately, from our experience, it often happens that security is at the very end of the requirement list. So sometimes, especially for the new space companies, which are often startups, they leave security at the end, or they don't consider it at all. And then the other approach is to use some of the already existing software, which is open source from NASA, for instance, or other entities developing the open source software and making it public. And this is the software which companies would easily assume that the software is secure because, well, it was developed by NASA, so it must be. And actually, this is the software we find the most vulnerabilities in.
That is fascinating. That is a really interesting takeaway as well. But I want to make sure that I give you both an opportunity if there's anything that you want to mention as sort of a closing thought.
So I think it's for people in space industry, it's important to start early with security design, and it's never too late. So even if the mission is flying, you can still do your risk assessment, threat modeling, and everything. But the importance is to not stop with the compliance checklist, but to actually have verification of those requirements, and not to go with like some crazy requirements that just are like, I don't know, someone grabs my spacecraft and deorbits it. That's a risk, but maybe you should focus on a bit more realistic requirements for your case and threats that actually can impact your business severely.
Be sure to check out the T- Space Daily wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
The Hilton sale is on. For 10 days only, you can save up to 20% on stays this fall and beyond. Don't wait. The sale ends September 29th. Book your stay and save at Hilton.com. Terms apply. Hilton, for the stay.
Investigating is hard enough. Your tools shouldn't make it harder. Maltego brings all your intelligence into one platform and gives you curated data, along with a full suite of tools to handle any digital investigation. Plus, with on-demand courses and live training, your team won't just install the platform. They'll actually use it and connect the dots so fast, cyber criminals won't realize they're already in cuffs. Maltego is trusted by global law enforcement, financial institutions, and security teams worldwide. See it in action now at maltego.com. And finally, at 18, most kids worry about finals or first dates. Noah Urban worried about ransom videos of bloodied teenagers begging him for $200,000. By then, he was a rising star in Scattered Spider, the teenage cyber gang that would paralyze MGM's slot machines and cost Marks & Spencer $400 million. In an interview with Bloomberg, Noah says he wasn't a coder, just a smooth-talking Floridian who discovered SIM swapping through Minecraft and found his calling as a caller, duping telecom reps with a deep voice and good manners. From bricked houses to stolen unreleased rap tracks, his mischief blurred into menace. The FBI eventually caught up, seizing millions in crypto and a collection of Rolexes. Last month, a judge handed Noah 10 years, more than prosecutors asked, reminding everyone that tricking Fortune 500 firms may look like a game to teens, but it's still fraud. Noah, ever polite, says he loved the life anyway. In the end, Noah's tale is less about a prodigy hacker than a teenager who mistook social engineering for a social life and learned too late that the house always wins. And that's the CyberWire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. Don't forget to check out the Grumpy Old Geeks podcast, where I contribute to a regular segment on Jason and Brian's show every week. You can find Grumpy Old Geeks where all the fine podcasts are listed. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. N2K's senior producer is Alice Carruth. Our CyberWire producer is Liz Stokes. We're mixed by Trey Hester with original music by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Cyber Innovation Day is the premier event for cyber startups, researchers, and top VC firms building trust into tomorrow's digital world. Kick off the day with unfiltered insights and panels on securing tomorrow's technology. In the afternoon, the 8th annual Data Tribe Challenge takes center stage as elite startups pitch for exposure, acceleration, and funding. The Innovation Expo runs all day, connecting founders, investors, and researchers around breakthroughs in cybersecurity. It all happens November 4th in Washington, D.C. Discover the startups building the future of cyber. Learn more at cid.datatribe.com.